Got it. Thank you so much. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mastermind Monday on this amazing September day. The sun is out. We love this. This is like the perfect fall day. Still kind of warm enough to be able to enjoy and walk outside without any coats and just enjoy the beautiful scenery and flowers and sunflowers and things that are everywhere. So thank you so much for joining us. We really value your time. We so appreciate you joining us every week for this 30 minutes, amazing 30 minutes. And let me say thank you so much to Christine McClellan, our CTO, who is always here opening up our Mastermind Monday and then posts these to our YouTube channel. So there's a whole 18 months of content built up on our YouTube channel, which is kind of great with these little 30-minute snippets. Nora Lynch, thank you so much always for being here. Nora is our education leader. Nora, did you want to open your mic and just talk real quickly about the October 28th, 29th event before we get started?
Yes, unfortunately, I don't have any notes here, so I'm going to have to rely on you a little bit, Lisa, but I know it's 2 days, and it is between 10 and 2, and go for it. And we also have a special guest speaker.
Kim Cameron is giving us an amazing session on team building, and that is one thing that's continued to be a conversation that we don't have all that often. And that's actually why we chose that as a topic. It's something that people are wanting to do, are doing now and want to change the way they're doing it. And so that's the session that we have. But without any further ado, go ahead, Nora.
Oh, no, so you can sign up on CRS and go to the website and sign up for the course. And Kim will also be joining us on our first Monday of October, which is coming up sooner than we think, for our special speaker. So she'll have a little, I guess, primer of the class. So we're excited about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we look forward to that on October 4th. Thank you for reminding us of that. And the course again itself is October 28th and 29th, 10 to 2. You'll get your full 8 hours, and that does also satisfy a requirement to become a CRS. And then let's say also thank you to Marie Presti, who just joined us. Marie is our current finance chair, and will be serving in that capacity next year as well. So very excited to have just about the whole team here. But let me get on with no further ado to welcome today's special guest, Gary Rogers. Gary has been involved with leadership in RRC for a long time. He's actually had his designation since, was it electricity? Oh no, 1999. 1999. And he really credits the RRC education with providing him as really a big part of his success in so many ways, as a realtor, as a broker owner, and as an association volunteer at a very high level, which he is now. Since that time, he's been involved with this chapter as well as the Realtor Association. He's the past state president. He's a past National Association of Realtors RVP for Region 1, which is our region. And he's currently the vice chair of the NAR Leadership Academy, which I know is something that brings him enormous joy to work with that super, super amazing and motivated group of realtors that are being groomed for leadership at our association at the national level. Let me get that person's trying to get in. He was the recipient of the Realtor of the Year as well as CRS of the Year. And much of his business has been on generating and attracting referral business. So today he's going to give us a little peek at a larger course that he's developing, but really give us some of his highlights, tips, tools, and takeaways about how to generate agent-to-agent referrals. Take it away, Gary.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for taking the time out of a very busy day. I know it's a very busy week. As Lisa said, I am going to talk a little fast and bring up a lot of points and if you have any questions later, please feel free to reach out to me. The way I've always gone about my business planning has been to take one source of business and act as if that's the only way I could possibly make a living, like my life depended on it, and work it out from there. So it's more vertical than anything else. Usually business planning, we go very horizontal and we do, source open house, referrals, past clients or whatever. I tend to go a mile deep on it. And that's how I kind of ended up developing more of a executable type of plan of going after referrals. So with that, I have share screen. So I'm going to do that right now. And let's get started. There we go. Can you guys see that okay? Advanced refer, can you see the screen? Yes, okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so I've always felt like we get referrals almost by accident. You know, we may be listed in some sort of directory, websites. Our business cards are geared to consumers. I mean, there's nothing out there that reaches out and says, please give me a referral, other than the old fashioned, I met you at some place, I hand you a card, and maybe you'll remember to put a note on the back, and then it goes in the drawer, right? And I'm guilty. Some people that are a lot smarter than me learned to get custom cards where on the back of it says, I met you at celebration in 19 whatever. But all of our referral directories, that we have them all for designations. Clearly, we have a great one with CRS, but companies have their own designation, their own referral directories, the larger companies. And then, of course, there's a lot of Facebook groups out there now where somebody will say, hey, who do you have here? And, you know, it's fun, but it's not fun, because it's like a popularity vote contest, and say, oh, I love Nora Lynch from Massachusetts. Oh, I love Marie Pressey from Massachusetts. Oh, I love Nelson Zide from Massachusetts. You know, it's just a hot mess. And I really feel like we need to find a way to get us targeted better for the right referral. So referral directories are less utilized now than they were in social media, but there's still a low-hanging fruit. They're free. They're part of membership on most designation groups, and especially ours. I use ours all the time. In fact, I'm guilty. I still keep the book, because a few agents that are not CRS designees in my office use that book, which is a big compliment to us. But we're really not maximized. So one of the things, of course, that you know, I really recommend is having a little bit more of an enhanced presence if you're going to be in those referral directories. A little while ago, Alex Milstein just mentioned that he's the only one in his market that has the banner on the CRS piece, and he gets business out of it. But the other thing is, a lot of people do not update the referral, whatever directory you're on, they don't update it. Some companies might, I'm a franchise, I'm a small office, but some companies have the ability to put something about yourself there and your hobbies and things like that. That's some of the things that have worked out really well. But at the end of the day, any referral marketing or advertising I've ever seen sounds like everybody else's. I give the best service, I'm this, I'm that. When I'm looking to refer somebody, I need a place or a way to find out, are they the best fit for the client? That's simple. It means it's our reputation and it's our money. And I'm going to mention that later too. It's so much more important than just finding a name of somebody that's recommended. I really feel like you have to spend that extra 10 or 15 minutes, even interviewing the person on the phone, just to make sure they're a good fit. Are you even sending the referral to the right place? Are they 1 hour away from the market? So what's the plan? Well, marketing to the agent is really what I've always tried to do. It's a different messaging for consumers. Saying a consumer, you're a multi-million-dollar producer means nothing to us. And you know, really when an agent's looking at it, what's in it for them? What's their goal? Again, reputation and revenue. It's about making money, keeping a good reputation with the people that trust you to make the referrals. But what else am I looking for? When I look to send a referral, I'm looking for experience, the designations, and the overall industry experience. The note, I'm going to change that at some point. I'm not a robot. You cannot look like everybody else. You just can't. You have to make yourself interesting. We are all interesting in one way or another, and we need to celebrate it a little bit. But depending on the story, this is your time to tell your story about why you're a great person, or you know the area inside out, or whatever your angle is on attracting it, saying me. Like-minded agents also tend to refer across company lines without a hesitation. I know that some companies are very strict. I got scolded from one big company that some of their people came back and said, well, we should be able to refer, and they put all their referrals through. I get all that, but it's my strong experience that personally, while I may look for somebody with the same brand name over it, I'm more concerned with the quality of the person that's getting it. Because if they're a win-win for me, I'm going to look like a hero, and that my clients are going to trust me more to refer their friends out as well. So the first thing that I recommend that I do is having your own business card that's directed to agents. It is not something you hand out to clients. It is not something anybody, but you should have a boatload of those for every industry piece you go to. You should not be handing out your standard business card. All it is contact information, but there's no messaging. So putting an agent relevant message on and putting the ask on it is easy. Making your referrals feel right at home is my tagline, my byline, and my messaging. And sometimes I'll use a different email signature with a different email when I'm sending out to agents outside of my market. Letting them know the market you cover. You need to find a way to let them know. All of us have probably been online and had Facebook groups saying, let me take a sidebar. There's a phenomenal referral group that's unofficial, called Major Investors. You have to be a major investor. I say unofficial because NAR, it can't be official. In that group, often I see somebody saying, hey, I need to find an agent in Boston. That is pretty broad, as we all know. That could be anything. That could be Joe Scott. That could be a suburb, me. It could be somebody in the North Shore. It could be somebody in the South. It could be anybody. So letting them know what market you cover in some way, some form, I think is very important and saves a lot of time. I also believe that when I look for an agent, some of the things that I've looked for, and I think some of you might, is industry experience. If they're another volunteer within the RRC, you're more likely to think, hey, they're just like me. I'm going to refer to them. We want a human connection when we send a referral. And really, we've been horrible at it. Just handing out cards and putting a name out there doesn't cut it. Any awards that are relevant without, going down the whole brag list, but put something that's relevant. And of course, designations in RPAC. I'm a major investor, obviously. Anything that I find that I would like to work with this person personally, but I'm going to send them a referral. I think that's the message. So how do we get the message out? Well, this is the first card I ever put together. I know. It's the guy on the moving truck. You can all laugh at me. I know my friends are. Dino's probably rolling. Marie's rolling. Nelson's going, oh no, not that guy again. I get it. I was a handsome man at one point. Now I'm not. This card I put out in 2006, and it was phenomenally successful. And don't go to the website now. It's down now. My friend Alex is doing it, but I'm going to show you a great example of a great website that you can also build. But before we go to the website, think about this card for a minute. I'm telling them right off the bat, I'm serving Metro West Boston. That narrows it down and helps them make a better referral. Making your referrals feel right at home. My tagline, I don't use 800 numbers anymore. Nobody does. Sorry, let me back up. And you can see down at the bottom here, sending your Boston area referrals with confidence. Visit my agent's site. I used to have a lot of business ideas, testimonials and stuff. And then my company name and address on the back, coincidentally, because I want them to get to know me first, not necessarily rule me out. This is my card now, which my friend Alex has helped me with a little bit, and it goes to print probably next week. Very simple, modernized, updated. Again, with the tagline about making your referrals feel right at home and the market that I serve. That's the only card that you'll see me hand out in November at San Diego or anything else we go to. So again, looking for things in common with the other agent. If you read 5 profiles, is yours going to stand out? You have to make yourself more interesting than maybe you are. But there's a lot to it. This is kind of a case study. You can see here, I said dog breeder. One of the profiles, at least in my company has, and I think most companies are starting to catch on, is when you send out your profile, you can actually check off all the different hobbies that you have or interests or liking. So if you're a scuba diver or a dog breeder, I happen to skydive. So if you put all those hobbies in, you can actually, some of the profiles, you can search for it. Even if you can't search for it, I found somebody, I was sending a referral down to South Carolina. By the way, I'm looking to the right because all your screens are on the right. I should move it up top. I was sending somebody to North Carolina, I'm sorry, who was a local person. I was selling her house. She was going there for a job, and she happened to be a dog breeder. I called 4 or 5 agents and just got to talk to them. And I said, well, you know, what's there to do around there? What do you do for fun? And one of them happened to mention that they were a dog breeder. Perfect referral. They even bred the same breed. And they're best friends to this day. And I've probably generated 6 or 7 referrals out of that woman in North Carolina, referring me her friends who live in different parts of the country, because I knew how to match up somebody. I got the perfect match. Hobbies, these are some of mine: classic cars, dogs, travel, skydiving. You might want to list charitable work. That's a great tie-in. Previous careers sometimes. I'm a veteran, so if somebody says they're a veteran, I'm probably going to look at them a little bit closer. So here's one of the websites that a friend of mine that is a member of the current Leadership Academy, which are fantastic people, by the way. And she has done a great job. I'm going to see if I can pull it up real quick here. And this is her website. Can you guys see the website? No? Okay, let's try that.
Try to reshare, Gary.
Okay, I'm going to skip that part then. I'm going to go back to the power slide. If you get a chance, write this down and go to it. And you're going to see that she has a fabulous video that is designed because of her market in Florida, has some relocation people coming in. She has a 5-minute video when you open it that talks about all the things in the area and how fun it is and interesting. Fabulously smart. Other websites, there's very few out there, but I would absolutely run out and register referrnelson.com right now, and then have an auction, and who's the highest bidder that gets it. I'm betting Nelson might, but I would recommend that you run out and get some sort of domain name for a website that's different than your consumer site. Refer Tracy. I think Tracy at one point was going to do it. May not have done it now. I may get on her case, but please check it. Don't do Refer Nelson. As a joke,
I just bought that on GoDaddy. Refer Lisa. Oh no.
Yeah. So I mean, it will work, but you may get a different kind of client. I'm just saying. That was the big joke when I first came out with this, was that you know, Refer Gary. You know, well, not so much. You know, one of the things that I point out that on the content that you want that person, they're only going to go there once. They're only going to go there once, most likely, an agent that's thinking about a referral. But wouldn't it be amazing that if they got 3 names and they saw a website that says, why should you refer to me? I promise you'll be the only one out of all the people that they may consider. It may not be your area, but you're going to get the look and maybe the call. And so these are just some of the points that you know, you don't have to use this verbiage, but I think is really, really key to sink that hook in, that interest, being interested in you, and just showing, look, I understand it's a tough thing about figuring out who to send a referral to. Here's the opportunity. And so on the website that I'm putting together now, I lost my old provider, lost my old site. Well, no excuse, but the one that I'm putting together now, I may have a little bit of a welcome video saying, hey, I'm Gary Rogers. I cover Metro West. I've been a broker for quite a while. You know, I work well with first-time buyers. I have access to new construction, whatever it is, but like a 2-minute quickie video. Thanks for looking. Here's some information about me. If I can help, let me know. If this isn't the area, pick up the phone. Here's my cell phone. I can tell you who I would use if I was outside of Boston area. So the messaging is really, really important to that person. I also I don't use all this verbiage. This is just for an example's sake, but you really want to impress upon them your commitment, absolute commitment, passionate commitment to do the best you can for that referral. And not just, I give excellent service. My God, please, can we be a little bit more descriptive about the level of service that we're going to give? And the one thing that I always want to point out is that their reputation is at stake. And I hope that they take the time to place a good referral just like I do. I'm very careful where I send referrals. There's a couple of people in the room here that I've sent referrals to, and they know that I love the feedback and I love the like-mindedness, like we all work the same way. Well, I know most of you people on that I can see in the screens, and I know you care about where you're going to send a referral. And when you search for it, it has to be easier than it is. It just has to. It can't. And I've had friends say, "Oh, I use so-and-so," and they were good. Define good. They accepted the referral. They may have told you it's under agreement. Then they told you it's closed. That defines good. I just want a little more feedback just to know that you care enough about me, or that you value the referral high enough that you just let me know once in a while, what's going on. So that's part of the plan, is you have to have a communications plan with every referral. If you're not using a CRM with reminders or a chart up on the wall or something, I think you're missing a huge opportunity to be 50% better than anybody else they've sent a referral to. Here's another important piece that I've found very, very valuable. And whether it's on your agent-only website or in your signature block that you're sending out to other agents, just saying, when you send me a referral, here's the type of comments you can expect to hear from the client. And these are actuals. I tell them ahead of time too. I'm going to ask you for a testimonial thanking your agent for referring me. Like, how much better does it get than that? Association conferences, I talked about this a little bit. If you're not into the agent-only card, think about having your regular business card printed up on the back. You met me at the convention in Orlando or something, just some reference. I think if you're going to go in, you're going to go all the way in and get a refer Marie card, refer Marie in Boston card, refer Marie in Metro West card, whatever it is. The shorter the domain, the better, but the messaging is important. And for the cost of $40 for cards, design them on Canva. It's really easy. The other idea about some of the cards that you bring to conferences is, and I know a couple of people in this room have done it, they had to come back and teach me, but you can put all of your sales in a Google map that will do the heat map of the areas that you cover. So if you have Massachusetts and it has, the big dots where you've done 200 transactions and the little dots, it gives somebody a sense of the coverage area that you will go to. Now, I've seen that on a couple different cards just in the last couple months. I'm not sure because I have different directions. Mine may not look as concise, but it's a great idea. And it probably will go up on my website to show the breadth of the market that we cover. One side note, by the way, in the code of ethics, it really pushes that we are supposed to be competent in the markets that we work at. And when somebody calls me for a referral, I may have sold up in the North Shore, but it was my cousin or my best friend or whatever. It's really tempting to refuse those referrals, but our code of ethics says we have to be competent in those markets. Now, in this market, I know it's tough because I have agents that, during the leaner times, they will go where they need to go. I can't fault them for that. That's the way it is. But just keep in mind that other agents may be thinking like, how can they be good in all these areas? Now we're getting into the real kind of stretching it out a little bit. I've purchased 3 books of business. And to me, it's referral based. And that's a whole different course, but I just want to plant it in your mind that might be part of your overall referral plan, referral generating plan, is absorbing business of people part-time. We have 1.5 million realtors right now. There was 5.9, I just pulled up the chart, last year, 2020, 5.8 million closings in this country with 1.5 million realtors. The dropout rate is going to be huge. Some of those may not have sold any, but some may have sold 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 houses. And you could do it 2 ways. You could adopt their past clients as they drop out of the business and send them a letter. There's an adoption letter. Or you could make them a partner and say, listen, you have a sphere of influence. People knew you're in real estate and now you're taking a step back. Let me work out a referral setup. Maybe it's above average referral. So I'm not going to go too much into that because it really takes a full hour to all the nuances about absorbing, partnering book of business, but keep it in mind. The other way that I found really powerful and to get to know somebody better is a mastermind group. There's a person here in this room that we were part of one before COVID and during COVID. And it was phenomenal because we all got to know each other really, really well, the way that we work. But we were we were far enough apart that there was no question that, you know, if I got a referral for a certain area, I wasn't going to be tempted to go there. They were far enough out, it was worth sending it to. So mastermind groups have been around forever, but to have them more organized in a monthly kind of meeting and have people talk about different topics and maybe present something, I think is very valuable. And that should be considered as part of your referral plan. I know one brilliant broker in Watertown who belongs to one big group nationally, and they get together for the day before the mid-year meetings and the day before the November meetings, and they spend one whole day together. They rent a hall, they break out lunch, they have panel discussions, networking, and he does it every single year. It's like $300 a year together, and that pays for their space at these things. So that's pretty broad. There's a concentric circle of success in generating referrals. It's easier to generate or send referrals that's 2 hours away from me versus 8-hour flight away, right? It's that people don't move that far usually. So keep that in mind, that the focus nationally is going to have less of a return, but over the long run, it might work better, but you know, regionally is more powerful. I'm not going to go way deep into this, but I actually have a deal with 2 different exclusive buyer agents who, when people started being exclusive buyer agents, it was great. Now they're not really, they'll take whatever work they can get. So I challenge anybody that's an exclusive buyer agent that is easy to turn down listings, but I know 2 of them that do. And the minute they sell a property, I talk to them that if this person ever moves, I want to be the one you refer to on the listing side. So that agreement has been, the ROI's pretty good because it doesn't cost anything, but it has been good because I've stayed in touch with them. One of them has come over to the dark side and lists and sells now. But you know, we have a great relationship, and so we've done some co-brokes together, and anything that builds our relationships, they're going to talk you up. It's like the 6 degrees of separation. So that might not be applicable in your market, but it might be something to think about. Entry-only brokers, very quickly, this has not worked out lately, but it used to work out a few years ago when I would approach the broker owners of these entry-only brokers, and there's 1,000 of them, and I would say, what's plan B? If that doesn't sell and they're getting ready to list with a conventional broker, what's plan B? I want to be plan B. I will give you this much of a referral fee. I'm not going to poach it. I'm going to wait my time, but you can then introduce the dialogue that after 30 or 60 days and you've sold them every bell and whistle, you know, more pictures, this, what's plan B? How are you going to make more money off of that client? Because at the end of the day, there's a whole, CRS taught me this, there's a value over a lifetime career. There's a money value that if you're doing it right, a client should be worth X amount. Nelson, you may have kept up on that figure, but I think you and I, it was the same time period in CRS that we used to talk about it a lot. I think back then it was $78,000 over the average career of a client. I would submit that it's much more, right? Nelson, 150, I would think, right, with the way prices are now. So check out entry-only brokers. If you talk to them and you teach them the dialogue to say, listen, we're running out of time. I think you're missing the market. I think you need the services of a conventional broker. Here's who I would recommend. It's easy and it's worked. Lately, it's kind of died off a little because people are rolling over that and sending them stuff even though they're listed with a broker. New listings with out-of-town agents. Oh my God, this is such a great thing. There are so many agents that take listings because of family, friends, whatever, and they really don't. They think it's going to be easy and they realize it's not so easy. Maybe it does sell quick. But in this market especially, they're getting so many calls on the listings and they're throwing them in the barrel. 8 out of 10 will admit that they don't chase the leads because they don't want to sell in that area. I used to cover the Framingham area and drive Nelson nuts. Nelson sold a lot. I only sold a little. But I have a listing in Framingham now, and I'm getting 1,000 calls on it. It sold in the first day. I'm not really servicing out that area. Sorry, Nelson. I do have an agent that knows Framingham well.
Send them to me.
Well, and half of them are Spanish speaking. I happen to have a Spanish speaking agent. So, but asking, what are you going to do with all the people that call on this? And I'm guilty. Like, I got a lot of calls and I didn't follow up. And I said, well, do you have anything else in Framingham? And I'm like, so busy, my mind slipped. And I said, I really don't. Okay, well, thanks, bye. I just put the lead in the barrel, right? We need to get more proactive. I do. Be proactive and take their information and say, you know what? I don't cover that area a lot, but I have a friend of mine out there his name is Nelson. He's been he knows this market inside and out. With your permission, I'll give him a call and refer you to him. You'll be better served with that agent. That's all they want to hear. You'll have more luck getting a home with that agent. That's another one in this market. They love that, right? Because they're not having good luck. But if you say you'll have more luck with somebody, this person may know of things coming on, whatever it is. So asking out-of-town agents who have a listing there, what are you going to do with the leads? I will register those and pay you a referral on every single one of those. If you're getting 20 people through an open house and it's getting too hard to have them enter their names in the registry, we're missing a huge opportunity because we're overworked and we're blasted with COVID and the hot market. And we need to get back to those things. We're throwing money out the window. If you're taking a listing out of town, the first thing you should do, the second thing after signing it, after you sign it, is figure out who you're going to refer to and pick up the phone now and work it out with them. Have them do the open house with you, right? The deal is if they walk in and buy it, it's mine. You get everybody else. They get to know you. They get to know me. It's a win-win, but work out the arrangement ahead of time. If it's not your market, you're not going to work the lead. Why not get paid for it? You deserve it. Outgoing referrals. We do not ask our clients enough or explain to them in the right language on how to generate referrals. My goal is to send out at least 15 closed outgoing referrals a year. I can't do that unless I ask for them. Somebody's not going to think about, oh, Gary must know somebody in Florida or Madeira Beach, Florida. Well, I happen to know somebody. So I remind clients all the time in a letter or an email twice a year. As I've mentioned before to my valued clients, I belong to a network of agents, top 3% in the country, that is phenomenal. And I can refer you a top agent anywhere in the country. I know you can say the world, but let's be honest. I don't remember the last time I sent somebody out of country. Let's stick with where we're focused on. I can refer anybody. I can refer you to any place in the country and promise you'll get a top agent. If they give me a call and say, hey, my brother's relocating, or there's some military relocation I've been involved in, and they're going to Fort Bragg or they're going whatever. I have agents in those areas. And if I don't, what do? I start at the beginning of what we just talked about, at the very beginning, and I dive down and try to find the best qualified agent, right? If they do military referrals, how am I going to know unless I find it somewhere? So we need to make it easier for us to tell each other more about ourselves. I'm going to end with this, and there's a lot more to it. I've cut this down as quick as I can so we wouldn't necessarily go over by more than a couple minutes. My full session has a lot more to it, but I want to put this piece in because I think it's super, super important. Adding commercial referrals to your toolbox is so critical. Every single building owner that I know of owns their own house. There's a realtor involved in that. I had somebody that owned 3 warehouses. They didn't think to ask me if I knew any commercial agents. They just picked somebody and sold 3 commercial warehouses. And it turned out they used a friend of mine, a commercial agent. I never thought to ask if they had any commercial needs at all, any business or commercial needs. during the first interview process. I should have known that in a bio if they own a business or a building. I will tell you that it's in development now, but there's a new session that's coming out that is not designed to make you a commercial broker, but it's designed to give you the orientation to learn how to give a proper commercial referral. They don't pay us the same way. It's not a flat referral fee sometimes. Maybe it's a 10 or 20-year lease. There's a referral setup in that. But there is a session coming out that, 60-minute session that will teach you the different kinds of commercial brokers and how to find them. In Massachusetts, we have a commercial overlay board. That is a great source, at least in our area, to start with to find out more about it. And hopefully you do in the other areas that you all are watching from. But talk to somebody that you know is in commercial. Have them sit down with you and explain how the money works, the referrals, what would be reasonable to ask. How do I find somebody that sells restaurants or retail or whatever? It's really going to be eye-opening when you know how many people actually have a say in a decision-making process that you can send a commercial referral to. So I stopped sharing there. Yep, okay. So that's really, I'm not sorry I'm talking so fast because I went a little over, but I hope you guys found some value in the idea that we need to be more proactive and make it easier for people to find us, to like us, and refer us. Anybody can say that 40% of their business is referrals, but if you only did 10 pieces of business, that's not saying a lot. So I don't go by percentages, but I will say, right? I mean, that's like saying multi-million-dollar producer, right? 100% of my business was referrals. I sold one house last year. But it is a sizable piece. One last thing. This is a business source that as much as experience may matter agent to agent, it is also easier for early career people to break into because you're having another agent vouch for you when you receive that referral. That gets you over the hump if you're kind of a newer agent, right? A personal referral goes a long way. So this type of session is really good for those of us that have a bigger book of business, a past clients, but also somebody that's newer. They need to think out of the box. And between the YPN groups that support each other greatly, it's probably one of the most loyal groups I've ever seen. The major investor, unofficial major investor group, when somebody else is a major investor and you guys have taken the time to invest in our industry, as absolutely I believe we should. When you find like-kind people, I promise you, you're going to get a better referral and more of them. So absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gary. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I know there was one question in the chat. Cheryl, who came in a little bit late. Lovely to see you, Cheryl. Had a question about when the session would be. And Cheryl, I think this session is at NAR. So Gary, do you know when it is or any details on that?
Yep, I do. I actually, hold on one second. I still do paper. It's awful. That session is on the Saturday, okay, the 13th from 12 to 1. And then later in the same room, I don't have the room assignment yet, but I was just notified yesterday that they've asked me to put together, Nelson, I know you remember this, the old CRS day masterminds. It's not CRS, but they're back. So Chris Whitten out of Rhode Island and I are going to be moderating a real roundtable mastermind. They actually want it so much that they've reset a room from the standard stadium seating to roundtables to make sure that this works the way that I've told them that it would work. So that famous plans of mice and men. I'll be in that room all day. I have a panel on why to volunteer, leadership, the business benefits and the referrals you get from being a volunteer leader. That's from 1:30 to 2:30. But this session on the brainstorming is 4:15 to 5. Little late, but it's there. But I think we'll bring our own energy for that. You won't need to depend on me or Chris Whitten for the energy. Anybody that's gone to the Masterminds live, very exciting. They're like Ari Barcamp on steroids.
Yeah, no, they're awesome.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you in New England that went beyond the to the CRS camp a few years ago, I think we're going to have the same atmosphere. I really do. I think it's going to be very exciting. So yeah, 12-1 for agent referrals, and I can go a lot deeper into any one of these things. Have another 8 sources that I haven't even touched on.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing class. We really look forward to it. I hope, if you send me some of the details, and Christine, we'll definitely be happy to, promote that as well within our New England circles. So I love what you had to say about the intentionality of it. I mean, we love to have our referrals, and it's an important part, but being so intentional that you create a card with a message, that's just great. I mean, it really is a really great idea. One thing I'm kind of wondering also, maybe you'll touch on it in the session, do you have a thank you program that you created for your past referrals? That's something that I've been working on, just everybody gets a Starbucks card occasionally, but I'm really intentionally trying to build a much more robust and gratitude filled program for that. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And it seems like a great.
Yeah, just briefly, it depends on the agent and the client and so forth. I mean, I've done everything. I've done everything from paying for their next convention. I'm not big on gifts, but, I always send a card. It really depends. I had a phenomenal, I just got my second very, very large referral out of the major investor group, literally out of that. My average sale price in where I am in Waltham is probably about $600, $650. I closed a $2.2 million sale that was a referral because they knew me already, but because they recognized I was a major investor, that's why I got it. Mm-hmm. And I have another one right now sitting on my desk for 1.5 out of California because I'm a CRS. So people are looking for reasons to refer you. You need to give it to them. You need to give them all the information and make yourself more personable than those other 10 listings that they're, the name and address that they're finding in whatever referrals.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Gary. We are going to wrap up because we do promise we'll probably be finished at 12:30. So everyone pretend it's 12:30. And this was amazing content. I can't wait to learn more. Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you everyone who took the time out of your day today. We look forward to seeing our next Mastermind Monday is actually not till October 4th. So next week, usually the 4th week of the month, we do not schedule one. So we will have next week off, and then we'll be back on October 4th. Nora will be driving that one with Kim, talking about the sessions that we have at the end of the month in October. So thanks again, everybody. Have an amazing week. We look forward to the next time that we're together.
Thanks for having me, guys. All the best.
Our pleasure.